Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 15, Consciousness with the Dummies. That would be us. Our wonderful guest had a family emergency and wasn't able to join us today, so we're just shooting from the hip. We're just shiftballing here.
Yeah, we do that pretty good, if I must say myself,
Absolutely. Because we have so much fun that's like easy peasy.
for sure. I mean, what better way to kick it off than to, be able to have a conscious conversation with you. We enjoy doing that so much, and the shit that we talk about absolutely blows my own mind.
Would curl your hair. I'm pretty sure it would curl people's hair if they knew what we really talked about.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. So, like today, we were talking before the show, and Sharon, I was asking you, what do you think's going on? Do you feel, do you gather, do you sense, do you see that there could be a war on your consciousness?
Oh, 100. We're on the same page. Yes, 100%.
And what does that even look like?
Well, it depends who you speak to. Like Greg Braden is a scientist who is also in the spiritual realm, and he's been saying that there's a war on our consciousness, and with transhumanism,
Yeah.
and we're being systematically disconnected from what makes us human. And this movement began to merge human biology with technology through AI, through implants, through genetic engineering, and through nanotechnology. And nanotechnology is the primary weapon. This, in his view, that's what he sees as the primary weapon in the war on our consciousness. So he said it's not really the technology itself that he's worried about. It's the idea behind it, promoted by powerful global institutions, that humans are fundamentally flawed and need to be upgraded or replaced. So it's interesting because as we talk about all the time, our body, the human body, is the most advanced
It is the biggest piece
technology
of
on the
technology
planet.
this world's ever seen. And,
Yes.
I'm going to have to go so far to say that, it's interesting that institutions and conversations always puts everything outside of you. It's everything's out here. When I truly, when it's the belief system that creates the reality. So what you think about, you bring about. What you bring about, you'll experience. So gaining awareness of what it is
Mhm.
you think is a frequency. And what is even more interesting, Sharon, is that your voice, your
Yes.
words carry a vibration. Therefore, when you speak things, you speak it into existence and on a frequency, energetic, presence. And if you're not conscious and if you're not aware of what the fuck you're talking about, you are absolutely doing
So
your own self a disservice.
well, yeah. So that also brings us to, the frequency. Your words carry a frequency, and it's been proven that you can program water. And people are looking more and more into this and how to program water and what happens when you program water. It's an incredible area of study. And so the human body is made up between 60 and 75% water. It's programmable. So we program it by the words we use. We program it by the thoughts we have. We program it by the things that we're exposing ourselves to, whether we're watching, murder and mayhem on TV, or what do we ingest on the internet. Like, we're programming our body, and our cells regenerate, I believe, about every 7 years. The whole body regenerates itself and grows all new cells. Well, if someone has disease, the disease is still there after 7 years. There's chronic diseases out there that don't go away. And why is that? Because the water in our body has been programmed to believe we have that disease, and therefore it affects the cells surrounding it. Last night I was like, holy shit, I got a big download. I almost said the F word wrong, but I didn't. Our producer monitors me, and rightfully so. I'm not saying anything bad.
It's so
Isn't that
interesting.
incredible, though?
It is, because there have been scientific studies that show that when
Hello,
you,
Susan, and welcome.
hey girl, when you speak into a bottle of water and
Mhm.
you share the word love,
Yes.
Do this experiment even on a plant. Go walk up to a plant, and do an experiment. Have like 3 different plants, and through time, time, each plant you send a different, you speak a different, frequency to it. One plant you'll say, "I love you. You're amazing. You're absolutely fabulous. You are a total fucking vibe. I
Yes.
appreciate you, and you are elevating me." Then you take the second plant, and you're like, "Meh, yeah." You
Yeah.
totally ignore it.
You're nothing. Yeah.
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 And
Whatever.
then you take the third plant and you speak nothing but negative. I hate you. You're ugly. You get on my nerves. You're
Oh,
frustrating. You're aggravating. You know what? You are so beneath me. And you place judgment and you place worry, aggravation towards it. I guarantee you, through time, you'll see what of the 3 species is absolutely thriving and vibing. And I'm going to tell you, it's not the latter too.
absolutely. And it's been proven. There's been numerous studies done on this type of thing with plants, with rice, and with water itself.
Water itself.
So it changes the molecular structure of water when based on the words that you speak into it. And one lady that we had been on this event called Potapalooza, where we interviewed a bunch of different people in one day. And one of the ladies that we interviewed said she's been doing this for like 30 years and it drives her husband crazy because she does it whether they're at a restaurant or at home or wherever. So she says to the water, "I am healthy, wealthy, and surrounded by love." And then on the outside, "I'm healthy, wealthy, and surrounded by love." And then she says on the top again, "I love you and thank you. I love you and thank you." And then she takes a drink of her water.
It brings me back. I was working with a client yesterday, and
And it's changed her life.
the power of water is absolutely
Phenomenal.
so phenomenal, because I had a client coming and they're like, "Bethany, I'm struggling." I said, "How fast can you get close to a body of water?" "I'm on my way." They went to the body of water. And I said, "Isn't it interesting, when you stand before a body of water, what are you doing? You are looking at the current, because water flows, a current. Well, isn't it funny that what do you call a body of water? A sea. So if you put those together, you're in a current sea, the
Mhm.
current sea of the flow of water.
Yes.
What happens when the water is flowing, the current sea, it flows to a bank. You're standing on the bank of the water to receive your currency, to absorb it from the bank. And I was like, how does that feel for you?" She's like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And there's other beings within that water, different species, different plant life, different frequencies, different elevations, different
Yes.
awarenesses that come through the energy of the water. And when you're on the bank, yes, baby, get ready, because
Yes.
you are getting your download, you're receiving your currency, and you're absorbing it.
And if you're open to it and aware of it and open yourself up to receive it, like you flipped her world upside down. Her life is changing. And like you say, there's other beings like dolphins in that water. And when you're on a frequency, a vibrational frequency, those dolphins will show themselves to you.
And they did
And
for her.
yeah, and
They
it's just amazing. And to take this even one step further, our water in our body is our currency.
Well,
So we're programming our currency for life, for happiness, for love, we're programming it to attract or repel,
all of
because depending on our self-talk, our beliefs, and how much we absorb what others say to us. Like if you walked up to me and said, "Fuck, I hate you, you're a fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah." I'd be like, somebody's having a bad day.
wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Wow. That's a little out of character. All right. Okay. And, I would internalize a bit and say, "Okay, what brought this on? What did I do?" Go over our last, and then I'd be like, "No. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Did I say the F word?" I'm so sorry, Ron. Oh my God. Every week I apologize to the viewers who are sensitive. Sorry,
Uh,
not sorry. Whatever. Welcome to Holy Shiftballs.
Hey, I
Um,
promise you, if a word offends you, you are in for one hell of a ride. What's coming down the pipeline with this
woo!
reality. I promise you that. Wow.
But it's also about our water in our body is programmed by what others say to us and how much we absorb that energy from what they say. Just like the plants absorb because they have water. Plants have a lot of water in them. So if we just go, oh, like Teflon, whatever. You have your opinion and I'll have mine, whatever. I wish you love. And we don't absorb it, then we're
But here we
programming
go.
our body
I
for
mean,
health and love and longevity.
that's a total thing. I mean, just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true for you.
Right,
Does it ring
exactly.
true for you? No. Yes, we are
Yes,
embodying reigning currency all over us. Yes, Susan. It is
absolutely,
raining
Susan.
currency. That is a total frequency. And isn't it interesting to be able to stand out and ground yourself and receive the water, the frequencies, the elevation, the hydration of the water rinsing into your electromagnetic field, rinsing away those lower aspects of frequency that are in your field that is keeping you stuck, worried, aggravation, and water does
Blocked and stopped.
it does. And then
And
you
you'll
add
see
some salt.
water in
You
the
put
cup
some
run.
salt on that. Woo wee! Some salt water. Yes, it's powerful.
Absolutely.
But here's another thing. Just like we said before, the power of intention absolutely shifts your whole life, your whole day. To be able to speak into your water and know that when you talk to it, because it's holding the energy, it's holding the awareness, and
Yes.
then you ingest it, and it then therefore goes into the cells, into the body, into the tissues, into the awareness, into the body, to the heart, all of that.
Yes.
And it's in
Affects it
that
all.
frequency of love, health, receiving, abundance. Guess what? Those will intertangle, and therefore you will start to feel the resonance within the body itself because of the placing the attention with the water.
And the other thing on the opposite flip side of that is if you take, as we learned in the last couple of months, if you take a glass of water to set on your nightstand at night before you go to bed and you speak into it and say, please remove all of the sadness, hurt, anger, impurities from my system, and please remove those and take them on for me. You
Yes.
set that glass of water beside your
Yes.
bed.
Yes.
You go to sleep. That's it. You wake up in the morning, that water has changed
It did.
consistency.
It did. It became cloudy with bubbles. And I was like, because
Mhm.
this was an experiment for me. I was like, let's try this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's see what
Mhm.
happens. And it totally blew my mind to be able, but here's the thing that we weren't taught, told, made to believe to work with the elements, to work
Right.
with the things. All we've been taught, told, and made to believe is what we read in a book to make it act. And that's so not it. I mean,
No,
being able to
exactly.
work with the earth, the fire, the wind, the water. Those are all of God's creations, all of his tools. And when you start to really step up your game, you will incorporate these powerhouses into your field. And man,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the first night I did that, it was incredible. Like you say, the water was cloudy. You could just look and see a complete change in the structure of the water. And then you dump it out. When you wake up in the morning, you dump it out. You do not drink it because it's
no,
taking the impurities out of
right,
your
right,
body.
right.
So do not put them back in. You dump that water out and put that glass in the dishwasher. Don't use it.
Well,
And
Sharon,
yeah,
I just
incredible.
have to, I sorry to go off base, but
Yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah. You go.
I, everybody knows that you are a Canadian, right?
Oh no, what did I say? Did I say A or something?
No,
No, you don't drink
no,
it. Do not drink the water.
I just need to know what the Canadians are saying about our lovely Donald Trump.
Well, it depends on what Canadians you encounter,
Oh,
right? I'm very indifferent because to me, politics, there's nothing I can
it's
do about it.
hilarious.
So I am not going to put any time, energy, or effort into it. I'm fucking not. Oops. I'm just not. I don't watch the news. I do not. But other Canadians are like, we are not going to the States. We will not spend a dollar there. We will not support that. A lot of negativity, a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
visceral anger.
yeah.
But to me, I it whether I'm angry about it or happy about it, it's not changing anything with regards to what's happening there. So I may as well just live in my bubble and be happy and let everybody else take that anger and worry on because I'm just not
You
having
know,
that in my reality. Not happening.
for me,
But I
because
feel sorry for you guys because you're
oh,
missing
at this point,
billions of dollars every year that small businesses are missing because
well,
a
they,
lot of Canadians will not spend money there and everybody's choice. So you do what you want to do, but it's affecting people who have nothing to do with anything. And I think that's sad.
well, I think Got to be careful what I say. You know,
Okay.
at what point is, I mean, how bad does the shit show have to get? Before you say, "Hey, I'm no longer aligning to anything that anyone on any side of
Yes.
they do not have human, life. They do not care about us average, normal,
No.
everyday humans. They only care about protecting. At what point do you say, you know what, I can't buy into this shit no more. They're absolutely feeding me, you know,
Yep.
but knowing, knowing
Mm.
the operations, knowing what's going on, and I'm still I cannot help myself. I am laughing my ass off on a fucking level that is absolutely, I mean, because to know, what I know, and it's just like, wow. I mean, who's buying this? I mean,
Well,
at what point?
and let's talk about the e-files that are being released, slowly leaked out, right? But when they're leaking out some major things that are happening, it's, oh, look at this. We're going to go to war over here. Follow this bouncing ball so that we can release this over here. And you guys don't pay attention. It's been happening for years,
Well,
years and years. When there's a big thing, oh, look at, what was it a few years ago? Oh, there was a balloon, some sort of spy balloon.
yeah,
And you know what was happening while the spy balloon was being
they
released,
found it in
being talked about
Montana.
and focused on? It
Montana.
was, yeah, it was Biden's son. He had a bunch of charges against him and he was going to court and all of that was coming out. But no, we now have a spy balloon. And then once that court case, in a few days was done and all the information came out, oh,
But
it wasn't a
at
spy
what point
balloon.
does
Now we're
someone
just on to
say,
something else. It's
but
crazy. And it
but
happens all
oh, but
when
it,
there's a
I mean,
big thing going on, look at what's really happening.
the whole
That's all I have
narrative
to say.
around it is like, you mean it, you really, I mean, when you dig a little deeper and you're like, really? I mean,
Yeah.
it took us to figure out this is a Chinese spy balloon coming from China, and we don't find it till it gets to Montana.
Yeah, exactly. With
Really?
all the
Montana.
satellites and all of the things they have in the sky,
Right.
that thing just floated
Right.
over and
Right.
nobody noticed it.
Oh yeah.
Come
But
on. Come
it's
on.
just like, to me, it's like, man, I can't even by me, it's like a bunch of useless knowledge. It's like, trying to understand what what the gameplay is like. It's like trying to play hopscotch with a toddler. It's like, what's the end game here? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not, progressing anyway by understanding any of this useless knowledge, because it's not, accommodating me in my growth, in my wealth, in my health, in anything productive in my life. So at what
Absolutely.
point do you start to choose yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to, instead of, feeding into this BS, how about I'm going to take some time to shift my own self and look within and see,
Shift my shit.
why does this affect me? Why am I choosing to allow this to bother me? Why am I getting mad? Why am I blaming this? What am I really, because your words carry frequency again, so what,
Absolutely.
by me feeding into this lower density, these lower beings, how am I benefiting from that?
And the other thing is, it's also, this is part of the war on our consciousness, because when all of these negative things are coming at us, whether it be the e-files, the wars, somebody, this country hates that country, what's going to happen? We're on the bridge of economic collapse, we're this, that. It's also, it targets our inner qualities. It targets our intuition, our creativity, our empathy, which is a huge like a huge vibrational frequency that we need to continue to have. And our connection to our divine field of consciousness, all of this just erodes it, and people become robotic. It's just like, yep, they're immune to it, they're inured to it, but what do they feel inside? What makes them feel happy? What makes them feel joyful? What makes them listen to their
A lot
own
of
inner guidance? I
a
mean,
lot of people that
it's
I've worked
being
with
eroded.
and come in contact with, they get addicted to that dopamine hit of the
Yes.
worry, the
Yes.
aggravation, the blame game,
Yes.
they
Yep.
they're unaware and unconscious that they're getting a dopamine hit, the body, and it's like a drug, it's
Yep.
like an addiction, and
Mhm.
they are unaware of what it truly feels like to vibrate and operate in the higher dense, higher realms,
Mhm.
to feel those, that state of gratefulness, the compassion, the joy, the excitement, the fun, the elevated, just the
The
absolute
place
joy,
where we live.
the
Yeah.
joy in each moment. I mean,
Yeah.
because on an energetic level, it takes more energy to vibrate in that lower
Yes.
frequency. And when
Fear,
you start
worry,
to,
anger,
and on
helplessness,
people that might
hopelessness.
be new to this, those energies, that frequency is vibrating right next to death. I
Yes.
mean, energetically, you have an electromagnetic field, and it's invisible to the naked eye because we only see just a very small portion of the light spectrum.
1%.
But
Yeah.
when you are in that fear, rage, bait, all of that shit, you are collapsing in on yourself,
Right.
on it, in your energy, and you are vibrating right next to death. And guess what? If you choose that enough, guess what's going to show up?
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
disease. The disease.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
100. 100. And I'm living proof of that.
Yep.
Yes.
But you know what?
Yeah.
But we were not taught this stuff. It takes awareness. It takes, you know, grit, in my opinion, to really choose to understand this reality, because guess what? You're not going to find it in a book.
No, no, and nobody. Well, there are teachers out there who are teaching it to us, and but by listening to your intuition and going inside and finding your own humanity, your own, and listening to your inner guidance, not what's being broadcast on the news. And I know people who are like, "Oh my God, we gotta watch TV because we gotta see what's happening now." No, shut that shit off, because being upset, being worried and overwhelmed and worried about what's happening next. How has that helped you in life? It
Well,
hasn't. It hasn't.
when a being is in that field, when you're in that lower, of worry, you're way more easier to manipulate, to control, to get you to be that good human, do the right thing, go to work, shut
Mhm,
up,
mhm,
stress,
mhm.
stay on the wheel of karma, don't figure it out, do all the
Yeah,
things, but they still hope for a different outcome.
yes,
That is called insanity. And
yes,
so, at what
yes,
point are you like, okay, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going to choose. So, what can I do to change my life?
yes. And that's the
Where does
point I
it
had
all
got to
begin
in
with?
2017. It was like, wait a minute, this
Yeah.
is this is ridiculous. This has got to stop. And
I
that's
know.
when I started taking my inner being into consideration and really diving deep and doing a lot of inner engineering. And my life has been so much happier and so much more rewarding, and so many wonderful, wonderful things that have been happening that I couldn't have ever imagined. And that's the thing,
Yes.
when you open yourself up and become happily, truly happy internally, you start attracting those types of things. You start attracting people and situations and opportunities to you
Yes.
that you could never even dreamed of. And it just
Yes.
takes you to another level. It's incredible.
Well,
And
if any of our listeners are listening today and they are in the New Jersey area and they want to experience a shift and working with some elements, I would suggest to them
oh,
to
yes.
reach out to Susan Polanski and go
Mhm.
try the Wisdom Walks and Talks. And if you are ready to shift your awareness
Your
around
shit. Mhm.
your being and what you're surrounded by, with plants, with
Yes.
sound, that's your girl. That's your girl
Communicating and
in that
communing in nature, letting
that's your
nature
girl in that
speak to
area.
you. It's fantastic. Yeah, Susan Polanski, Nature Walks and Talks,
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
100. Yep.
yeah,
Look her
yeah.
up if you're in the New Jersey area.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, good. Well, I just had my event last night with Susan Schatzer. We
Mhm.
had our second Wednesday, which is a free event, which we'll have next month on the second Wednesday of the month. We have another event coming on the fourth Wednesday of the month. It's called Game Night. And if you are ready to step into absolutely fun and changing your life through, energetic work working with your subconscious mind, pulling out the programs, yes, we are your girls. You can the link will be in the bio. and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun. I've attended one and had a blast. You guys are you guys take it to the next level, knock it right out of the park.
We do. We try to. Well, we don't try, we do.
Yes, you
Well,
do.
Sharon, who in the world do we have next week?
Next week, we have a gentleman by the name of Craig Satovsky, and he is going to talk, continuing on our What the F is Consciousness series. He's going to speak about how two people can be at the same event, experience the same thing, and see things completely differently.
You know, Sharon,
and experience it completely differently.
Sharon, we have had this in our own life. So this is going to be interesting conversation to see some other people what they've experienced, because you know, this world, this reality is way more magical than we've been taught.
Oh my God. And once you open yourself up to the magic, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Oh, no. Once you become aware, you cannot, you know, and this goes back to the conversation we had before the recording, girl, that, you know, when the universe gives you your universe glasses and you put your universe glasses on, you see reality for what it is, not for what they say it is. And then when you take the glasses off, you see the programming, you see all the stuff. And I'm going to tell you what, but the one thing about the universe glasses, you cannot give your glasses to anyone else and make them believe or see what you see and know. So
they have to be ready to see it and ready to believe it. And until then, you just do your thing and lead by happiness and lead by forgiveness and love, and just be in that space. And when people exhibit frequencies, lower vibrations than that, you just send them love and wish them the best and continue on with your day, and know that be grateful and be happy in the knowledge that that's not where you live anymore. Because I spent years there. I did. I spent
I'm going to share one major thing, that you are the most powerful being in your reality. And once you start believing that, you will see it. And
once you embrace it.
Yep. So, Sharon, this has been yet another great conversation with you, my friend, my sister, my soul sister. And I am so looking forward, like every Thursday, to see you next Thursday. And remember, Sharon, when life kicks you in the balls, be sure to tune in to your Holy Shiftball podcast,
where we turn that shit into a shift.
All right, we'll see you Thursday.
Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday at 11 a.m.